paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Brainstorm Brewery. We've got the full crew on tonight, so it is going to be a very special episode indeed. I'm Corbin Hostler. I will let my co-hosts go around the horn and introduce themselves and where you can find them on the internet. You can find me on Twitter at Chosler or on magic.gg or TCG Player writing columns about magic. All right, Jason, take it away.
Hi, I'm Jason. I used to be famous. I work for EDH Rec now, and I'm drinking a Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA that I have aged for 120 months.
That's a lot of months.
10 years?
Yeah, it says to age for up to a decade.
Hey, DJ,
I ran out of cheap beer. My beer fridge is completely empty, so I have to go to my racks of stuff I was saving. And you know what? I'm sick of finishing Final Fantasy VII with the Mega Elixir still in my inventory. Eat the fancy cheese, guys. Drink the fancy beer. Just do the thing. Bust the card out of the slab and put it in an EDH deck, right?
Good advice, Jason.
Life is meant to be lived. I'm not saying that because I'm having a midlife crisis because I'm turning 40 in 2 weeks.
I don't remember who said it, but there's a line that's something along the lines of like, there's no special event worth celebrating more than being alive.
Mm-hmm. So,
which is to say,
this is...
I busted into the uncured Capicole, my deli meats. I've been enjoying my deli meats because I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm your other host,
until
Cass.
you get gout from eating handfuls of Capicole all day.
Oh no, I'll get the rich person disease. Ooh.
Even the drug treatment for that sounds cool. Colchicine? Ooh, that's a cool sounding drug.
That sounds like something that you could start, like a blood transfusion, like a fake blood transfusion company for.
Oh, just for
Do you want to get filled with the blood of youth?
Yeah, like...
We'll hire 3 blood bags per wealthy person, and we'll hook you up to their blood, we'll give you blood transfusions, and you'll be a vampire.
Yeah, like, what's
this
the name
blood
of
is
the
from
woman...
a Gentile. He's never even seen deli meat.
Like, what's the name of the woman who got in a lot of trouble for, like, making a fake blood thing?
Yeah,
Elizabeth Holmes, and if by in big trouble you mean they just reduced her sentence again this week.
Do you remember, did any of you watch Silicon Valley?
I watched a couple seasons.
The wealthy guy had a blood boy who was just like a fit young guy who would do blood transfusions every day, and the guy was like secretly eating ho-hos and ding-dongs off the clock or whatever. And that was like a plot point. Mike Judge really can make an episode about anything.
Oh, yeah. He made a whole show about nothing, and he called it King of the Hill.
And it's excellent.
And I am Douglas Johnson. Everybody calls me DJ. I am a Magic the Gathering card vendor who buys and sells collections a lot. And you can find me at all the SCG cons and Laughing Dragon events and all those.
I straight up forgot we were still doing intros.
Me too. I own a game store. It's in Virginia. Don't look it up, or do.
Well, welcome into the show, everybody. We are Brainstorm Brewery. We are here to bring you the latest Magic the Gathering finance news and insights and all of that good stuff, but also to talk about the things that matter. And right now, what matters, I think possibly more than anything in Magic? Oh, just a minute. Benjamin, you do not get to bounce that ball in here. Walk away.
I thought you forgot.
I thought he did.
I got this big thing queued up. What was it?
No, he came in just bouncing a basketball, like just slam.
These boys are always bouncing their balls around.
All right, next up, it is.
I thought that was podcast. You asked me a
is.
question and I answered it, and you just waited for me to finish answering, and then you're like, "Great, now let's do the podcast." What was the point of that?
To understand what I was pitching, whether I'm retreading territory.
All right, man. I'm sorry. It felt like a tease. That's all.
Well, it's a good practice, you know.
I don't know how things work around here. Okay.
On real TV shows, they like do practice runs of what they're gonna say.
Oh, are you guys
No.
sheltering in the basement?
Not a baby, but
Storm alarm.
Yeah, there's a tornado warning.
Sir, a second child has hit the first child.
Soren, do you want to be on too?
Yeah.
Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi to the
Hello.
podcast.
Hi.
Say, my pick of the week is Gift of Immortality.
No.
Okay.
Not
He's peeking out.
that.
Lily, what's your pick of the week?
What do you mean?
What's your favorite Magic card that you think people should buy?
Probably the magic card that I was named after.
Oh, okay. Buy any and all
good
Lily
choice.
Yeah!
Good choice.
Oh my god,
So,
that's incredible.
Are you guys really sheltering in the basement, or
Like that alarm actually went off.
I got the alarm too? It interrupted the podcast.
Yeah, but like,
You literally under a tornado warning right now?
Tornado watch maybe. What's going on, Lily?
just my first tornado and
Your
Yeah, we had
first tornado.
tornadoes.
It's fine.
We had big tornadoes here last night.
Lily, Corbin lives in Oklahoma and it gets hit with tornadoes all the time, and they don't even have nice stuff to get ruined. So
I don't even
he's
have
not
a
worried about it.
basement.
Hey,
Yeah, get him. Get him. I don't even have a basement. I just have a hole in the ground to go hide in.
Remember, kids, it's always cool to punch your father in the face.
Soren, do you think it's cool to hit your father in the face?
Yeah.
Dude, like one of the few things my kids bond over is tackling me.
Are you guys going to be down here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is there a tornado?
so we're still podcasting though. They will be very much in frame on the couch. We're definitely going to get hit with a tornado.
Well, I spent last night, dude. They were freaking out. We had the highest risk day in 4 years yesterday. It was crazy, and then the tornadoes ended up. Being
We have a
not
tornado
near us,
watch
but-
every 2 years.
I see.
Like
Yeah.
it's like Michigan's one natural disaster, and it just never happens.
Everything shut down last night for us. Like I
Ooh.
woke up at noon and everything was already canceled for the evening because of everyone. And then we ended up not having anything terrible here, but it was still there were bad tornadoes, just not there. All right, the other thing to hit the news recently has been Modern Horizons. There was a stream of leaks. Then the leakers seemed to get Pinkertoned, and suddenly there weren't leaks anymore, except for the ones that were already out. And then Wizards released a bunch of actual previews along with the set. So now we actually know
Did
what
they
is in
unrelease
the
a bunch
format.
of, like, what happened where there was a Wizards site that got 404? Like, what was the deal there?
That was just the fact that the Wizard site was built in the 90s, and any amount of people visiting it at the same time caused it to crash.
Oh, so it got DDoSed by increased interest? Is that what happened?
That is what they claim to have
I
happened.
missed this. I missed this happen. Was this when they
I
put up
thought they were like, here's some preview cards, and they're like, you shouldn't have previewed those, and they're like, whoopsie daisy.
No, I mean
I
that
thought
may have
that's what
happened,
happened.
but that Blake's tweet was, "We are getting internet hug of death," which
Yeah.
the internet took as a myriad
Hey.
of ways. Maybe they did not.
just means you get
were
too
not
much
supposed to.
traffic.
My pick of the week, Fevered Visions, the preview card that crashed the Brainstorm Brewery website. What, 10 years ago, probably?
Shadows over Innistrad.
It was
Yeah,
9
it was.
years.
Jeez, 9 years. Goodness. Where did the time go?
Mostly into your children. It
Into
seems
your
like.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a poor investment. I'm getting no ROI on either of these kids. I can just tell already.
Not yet.
Now, you know what would give you great ROI? If you would listen to me when my pick of the week was Eldrazi Temple, because right now, as of this morning, I'm checking again right now.
Mine was Ayavugan last week, so I am coasting.
Yeah, Eldrazi Temple. Right now it says the TCG low on them is like $255, but if you click on the 4 or more box,
Yeah.
let me tell you, place that started around $30.
Great Google.
And you could have bought them for about $1 a piece when I suggested. And you know, if you had just done that, you bought a playset of them for about $4 and you sold
Yeah.
them for about $30, hit the fees, you have almost 2 years worth of just $1 a month, just a quarter an episode
20 or
for our
25
Patreon.
cents an episode.
for our Patreon.
That's what if you don't
Well
make
done.
all the money you pay back on our Patreon on accident,
It's because you're stupid.
Yeah.
It's a personal failing on your part if you don't make money on our Patreon.
And I don't think
I can't help you.
None of you are dumb enough to f that up. Like, with our
Exactly.
advice, you can't help but make at least 20 or 25 cents an episode. Come on.
You're putting so much pressure on me now.
I
I don't have to
bangers
just
this
say
week.
words. I don't have to just like move the show. I have to give actionable advice to the tune of 20 to 25 cents a week.
My breaking bulk and my pick of the week are worth a year worth of Patreon subscriptions at $1 a month or 20 or 25 cents an episode. They're that good this
That's a good
week.
point. For 20 or 25 cents an episode, a laminated card that said pick your bulk would be 20 or 25 cents an episode.
Yeah.
You don't even need our podcast. You just need to try. You need to pick up draft chaff one time. Just go down a table, scoop up some draft chaff, pick out the 1% of cards that are worth money, put the rest in the cards for kids box. And there, that's 20 or 25 cents an episode for 10 years, as old as this beer that I'm drinking.
Well,
And you know, speaking of draft chaff, I have a breaking bulk that is going to blow your mind at how expensive it is.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
It's a Wilds of Eldraine Red Uncommon.
Some would say not even bulk at all.
It's breaking bulk, for sure.
Wilds of Eldraine Red Uncommon, is it from that set, or is it
Wilds.
one of the cards that were reprinted with a new, like,
From that
Rainbow
set
Marvin
proper.
or some shit? Oh, okay.
Wild
From Wilds of Eldraine, not Enchanted Tales.
I only know the cards from Enchanted Tales. Does it make treasure tokens?
No.
Roll tokens?
It makes a roll token.
Oh, I know this one.
I don't know what
Monstrous
it
Rage.
is, but that might help one of
Yep.
you too.
It's
Monstrous Rage.
It's Monstrous
Let me pull it
Rage.
back up here. Monstrous Rage. You cannot get a playset on TCG, but you can't even get a non-foil copy on TCG Player for less than $4 shipped right now.
Yeah, it's a very nutty card.
It combos really well with Slickshot Show Off, the best card out of OTJ. If you want to get a playset of them right now, let me click the 4 or more box here.
Slick Shot Show Off sounds
It'll cost you
dirtier
almost.
than any
It'll cost you
other
like
Magic card I've ever heard.
$17.
Yeah.
Cost you $17 for a playset of this card that you certainly have in your draft chaff.
Yep, there you go. 20 or 25 cents an episode for the next 2.5 years.
Yep.
That's right.
I will
Sell
add
these.
as an addendum any Magic card whose flavor text is quoted as somebody's last words is always just excellent. That is a recurring gag I will never get tired of.
Yeah.
Ever.
This one also is particularly good because it's just a what big paws you.
I do like me a goofy flavor text.
But not too goofy.
Well, what about the troll secret lair card flavor text, Jason, and the uppercase lowercase meme font? How do you feel about that one?
If they do it one time, it's fine. Every gimmick Magic does. If they do it once, it's good, and then think of some other.
Okay.
Which is
So-
it's really why I got upset, because they were like, "Hey, masterpieces all the time," and everyone
Yeah.
went,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Okay, sorry, not masterpieces all the time."
Serial
And then they
life.
went,
It'd be
"Oh,
really
masterpieces all
funny.
the time, though."
So one of the cards in that secret layer being Ruination is deeply funny to me because it's the only foil printing of it. Now imagine if they did a secret layer of all cards that never had a foil printing in their first foil printing and they were ugly as sin.
Oh, I actually have a
would
deck
be
with
so
Ruination in
funny.
it, and now I do need
The
that
person
foil
who did
version.
the faithless looting, the real controversial faithless looting, that
Well,
looked like it was like a mural painted on the side of a hookah bar or something.
My thought was specifically the card Urza's Bauble. Only Legacy sickos care about that card.
Oh yeah,
And foil that Legacy sickos would have to play with the secret layer version, and that'd be so funny to me.
This is also true in reverse for Nexus of Fate. The only non-foil is a ridiculously looking secret lair.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool though. I like it.
I hate foils. That's why I kind of like when they were doing the extended art instead. But
I don't think I've ever owned a copy of Monstrous Rage.
Really?
I might.
Maybe I have. Maybe it has come in an intake, gone through the Roka, been listed without me seeing. Like maybe I have.
It's
I have
called a
just never,
Roku.
I've never physically
Roku,
seen one come across a buy mat. I have never I did
My
not know this
process
card
is so
existed.
automated. I've never even seen a Magic
No,
card.
but like even at like physical events that I am buying cards at, people bringing ogre boxes, people selling me collections when I'm working
Yeah.
for TOA. Like
It seems like a
I've
real
literally never
recent
seen this card exist.
When did
If
it
you
go
look at
above
the-
bulk?
Price chart on it, it spiked pretty hard in the last month or so. But the card's been like $1.50 to $1 for a lot of its tenure.
So it's
I was
never
playing
in
this
bulk,
card.
basically.
I was playing this card late last year in the Picnic Ruiner deck. It's just like a red pump effect that leaves an aura around. Not to mention it is on rate for standard, and this is a card that's expensive because of standard. It's not a commander card. No one's playing this in their commander deck. This is a standard card that people buy as 4-ofs, which is part of what puts so much price pressure on it. Also, when was the last time someone opened a Wilds of Eldraine pack for anything other than an Agatha's Soul Cauldron? That's what just gets thrown in a bulk box
Yep.
and not touched
that
until
says-
someone like DJ sips it with his Roku.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
it.
the
well
stuff
said.
the uncommons that aren't impactful like day one, I feel like everybody just kind of throws them in a box because they're just busting the stuff to get the mythics up and listed.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think a pick like this is really good because it's recent. You probably have a lot of them or access to them.
Yeah, mine is much older. I have a original time shifted card. So this card was originally printed like millions of years ago, but the printing that matters is the time shifted one. And it is a green, purple rarity, obviously, creature. So original
Is it
time
Thallid?
shifted sheet. It is regular Thallid.
I like that sheet a lot.
Just regular old Thallid. That is the card, not
Thallid.
Psychotrope, just Thallid. The time spiral version or the time shifted version is about 50 cents. All the cards on the purple rarity sheets are just weird in how low supply they are. You can throw the Fallen Empires versions of your Thallids in the bin. Do not throw the versions of this one into the bin. Keep your purple rarity stuff around. These ones can get listed for 50 cents to $1, and then if you get that inventory depth that we talked about before, these will eventually sell in playsets to casual players or as part of a one-of package to a large sale where you will sell all of your Felon of Havenwood, plus one Thallid, plus an Overgrown Tomb, that kind of deck. So it's nice when things like this move as part of a multi-card sale. It's just a nice little bread and butter card that you should not leave in your bulk. Saprolings in general can get picked out if you're hand picking, but that kind of stuff.
All right, I've got one that I am also. This is a bit older as well, but not quite that old. I'm confident that this will stump you all. This is a Theros, colorless, uncommon.
The Chariot.
Nope.
The Helmet.
Is it the winged boots?
The boots.
It's not boots, and I feel like just
They're
sandals.
They're
Sandals.
winged sandals, you pedantic dick.
it is not the winged sandals.
Oh my goodness. And it's not the mask and it's not the chariot.
Fle-
Is it the shield?
Is it Fleet Feather Sandals?
I don't know. It's not, and I don't feel like it's fair that
Is it
you're
the
just
07?
naming parts of armor.
Is it the
Okay,
07
this is
wall?
not- no, it's not a wall.
We're naming all the equipment in the set. That is just as unfair, but more impressive.
It's
We're
not
not
a-
Is
just
it the
making
Mana
up-
Rock?
It's the pauldrons. It's the no. Come on, dude.
It's not a helmet. It's a helm.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm not gonna run you with I'm just gonna kill you with a gun.
I got that.
I'm gonna prowl into your house.
That's why I'm giving it. That's why I'm trying to work my way backwards here. I think DJ should get credit.
What is the difference between a helmet and a helm right now?
I don't know.
all the way up your.
Then you
butt,
don't get
Corbin.
to say no.
I just said you get credit. Were you listening? I don't. I'm on your
You didn't
side
say it
here.
fast enough. You made
Yeah, but
these
he
two
doesn't.
continue
He
to
doesn't
guess.
like that you're the kind of person that is on his side, right? It's like being endorsed by Kevin Spacey. It's like it's not a good endorsement. That's
You
why
made
he
these other
bristled
two
when you agreed
to
with
my.
him.
You made these other two to my up and to my right. You made them continue to guess after the game was over.
No,
That is
I was
cruel.
trying.
Why have you guys
I
here?
was trying to get in. Listen, none of you even know what the card is.
I can tell you what it does.
What does it do?
I was
Helm of
hoping
the
you wouldn't call me
Prowler.
on it.
What, DJ? What does it do?
Is it can't be blocked by more than one creature and haste?
Oh, it's a Prowler's
No,
Helm?
but you're on the right track.
Oh, no.
It is Can't
Can't be
equip
blocked up
creature
by walls.
can't be
I
blocked
looked it
by
up.
walls.
I buy
Prowler's
walls.
Yeah, so not bad though. Not bad knowing the can't be blocked part. Like that's a difficult. I don't think I would have gotten this one, for instance.
You guys heard me typing to cheat, and I typed in Helm of the Prowler because that's what I thought.
Because
it was.
you didn't know what it was. That was the whole
It's
point.
the word of. Doesn't of make anything sound nerdier? Like fire sword sounds kind of nerdy, but sword of fire sounds way nerdier. And then like Tralnor, sword of the Evanfrost, sounds even nerdier. The more ofs you have.
That's probably true.
So that's why I thought Helm of the Prowler was a, sufficiently Theros.
No, that's a comic book about a Spider-Man villain.
Well, Helm of
hadn't
the
considered
Prowler.
that.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
Wait. Does Drake wear one of these when he goes out?
I don't know anything about this.
He's
This
a
is-
predator,
You brought
not a
up
prowler.
Drake
Come
and
on.
Kid. I don't know anything about.
I
it.
don't either, but I'm still gonna throw my hat in my helm in the ring.
Oh, there you go. Very nicely.
Yeah,
done.
the
So-
police.
Don't know what Helm
The
is.
police were at Drake's house today, and they found a bunch of Stranger Things secret layers in his house
I don't get it.
because he was grooming
Creeping on
Millie
one
Bobby
of the-
Brown.
Oh.
Mattresses in there.
Yeah, someone said, "Hey, you know that Millie
Allegedly.
Bobby Brown? She was 11," and Drake goes, "She's 11," because he's a pedophile. That's why
Oh.
that's funny.
Y'all ever? I know I'm not a big British comedy fan. Not really a fan of the Brits in general. But I do really like that bit in the IT crowd where the woman dates a guy named Peter File, and he's at the
Yeah.
airport and they're over the PA being
because
like,
only in England, it's like in America, it'd be like, "Can Peter File come?" And everyone's like, "Oh, that's a guy named Peter." But in England, it's like, "Peter Foyle, can Peter Foyle please come?"
I actually just finished watching through all of Peep Show again, and man,
Peep Show's funny as shit.
it's so. Whoever decided to pitch like a first-person
like
sitcom,
Yeah, it's like if the IT crowd didn't have any transphobes. And
there's. Jeremy still says tranny a couple times in the series.
oh, Peep Show. I was thinking Snuffbox. That's Matt Berry.
I've also
no,
not seen Snuffbox.
No, Peep Show was good.
Cass,
Show's
what was
great.
your pick of the Breaking Bolt?
Monstrous Rage.
Oh, I wrote that down. Oh shit, I fucked up. Thank you. Wait, has everyone gone?
No, you haven't even tried to guess mine, you cowards.
Okay, that would explain.
I'm ready to
how I
guess yours.
messed up.
It's from the first Eldraine set. Was that called Throne of Eldraine?
Throne of Eldred.
Yeah.
It is an artifact, uncommon, and before you say it, Crashing Drawbridge was common. This is an uncommon from Throne of
Ginger
Eldraine
Brute.
originally, but it does
Ginger.
have one other
It's
printing in
the
a commander
wall.
product.
Ginger Brute.
It's
It
the
is not-
wall.
He just
the
said
banner.
that's a common.
The Rampart wall?
The,
Is that
a wall.
the wall that gives other taps to give, or your creatures get haste?
No, that's
the
Crashing
wall.
Drawbridge. And
I don't know
already
these
said
cards.
it wasn't that. I was being nice.
There could be two walls in the set. Crashing Drawbridge doesn't sound like a wall to me. I get now that it's a wall.
I'm going back. Is it a wall, Jason?
No, it's not a wall.
Okay, then I'm starting over.
But I
It's a-
feel like Cass knows the card and could like describe
Is
the
it-
art, but
is it
thinks
3
it's
mana?
a wall.
Is it
It's-
3 mana ETB? Choose a color.
It's a banner, right?
Yeah. I think
Heraldic
I get it.
banner?
Heraldic Banner is not a wall; it is an artifact, a non-creature
Heraldic-
artifact. But
Heraldic
Heraldic Banner,
Banner.
above a buck with 2 printings,
Yeah.
seems pretty good to me. The only like it's the same price as Deafening Silence, which has 1 printing. So like,
Is the art on Heraldic Banner depicting a large wall with a banner draped over it?
I mean,
maybe.
it doesn't
It's
necessarily.
wall
It's
adjacent.
not necessarily a wall because it actually
It
looks
does
like.
look. It looks wall like.
Okay.
It
It's a
doesn't
wall.
look continuous. If you look, no, if you
You're right.
They're
Wall.
they're
It's
not
like arches.
linear.
No, I gotta
Yeah,
look.
yeah.
No, I gotta.
I could picture the card in my head, and in my head the artwork was for like a defender creature. I was thinking of the card from Rise of the Eldrazi, maybe. No.
I'm a visual learner too, so like I always think of Magic card art or the expansion
Yeah.
symbol or visual cues. That's why I'm such garbage at pick of the week. I can't even remember card names.
Looks
Heraldic
like a
Banner
wall
is
to
not
me.
a wall, but it is $1, and it's
wall.
got 2 printings, and you have these in your bulk.
True.
Banger alert.
Ugly.
Good-
You're pulling
good
out
breaking bulk.
Beanstalk Giant, which is worth a quarter of how much this is worth.
And we weren't even esports back then, so like you might actually have played
true.
Paper Magic with those cards. You could have them in your bulk. Check it out.
We were M Sports for Meat Space Sports.
Meat sports, it's in the game.
As a reminder, all of our breaking bulks and the picks of the week coming to you later come courtesy of mtgstocks.com, the number one website on the internet for all of your Magic financial news. It's where we go to get all of our picks and historical data. You've seen us looking up information on cards over the past 10 years or longer. That's all available on MTG Stocks. And on the premium side, you can set up a whole system of custom alerts and cards to watch and a lot of ways to really up your game if you want to be on top of things. So make sure to check that out. Yeah. We've been using them forever. We appreciate their support on here.
We sought them out. We are in a position where we could entertain offers from any of the 3 MTG Finance websites. So we sought out MTG Stocks specifically, despite the fact that Corbin and DJ were writing for QS and I was writing for MTG Price at the time. That's how much we love the tools on MTG Stocks.
Gotta say, we played the long game on that one.
We did. We're like the people who bet big on Taco Bell and Demolition Man. They won the franchise wars. They did it.
Great. Okay, well, let's talk about Modern Horizons 3, because Cass mentioned Eldrazi Temples earlier. There's a lot in this set. We've seen a bunch of Goyfs. We've seen Orum's Chant, which is going to be legal. White of the Reliquary, Jason will be excited about. A whole bunch of cards that make a big deal.
I'll be excited about it, but I think Cass will actually put up results with White of the Reliquary. So if it got associated with me instead, that would be deeply funny to me.
Well, Jason has been a longtime fan of Knight of the Reliquary. I did
my
think of Jason
former
when
favorite Magic card. I think White. I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
Maybe White is my favorite, just because of the shenanigans I want to do with Bloodghast.
It's going in a few of my decks, that's for sure. It's a sweet card.
Here's a preview of my pick of the week. My pick of the week is Bloodghast. It's still kind of cheap because it's got a lot of printings, but my goodness, does it go nuts with White of the Reliquary.
Well, there's also the Ugin's Labyrinth, which is enabling a lot of stuff. Just a lot going on here. The Eldrazi themselves, all these flip
I like Vengevine too in a White of the Reliquary world. Like I want to play some 60 card Magic seeing this card. Can you believe that?
I love it.
I want to play 60 card Magic.
We're gonna bring back the brewing section of the podcast. Let Jason go first.
Yo, let's go. Let's bring back the brewing session. Let me talk about good decks.
Tell us about the mono white prison deck you built for 2011 standard.
Love it. Oh, I did have a great mono white prison deck back when you could play Lux Cannon.
Lux Cannon.
Oh yeah, proliferate my Lux Cannon, baby. No win conditions, but Inkmoth Nexus and Lux Cannon.
You're just a Bond villain, just using a
bro. I don't know, man. I don't know if you did that on accident, and I don't know if it was precisely 2011, but you kind of nailed it. Not gonna lie.
No, I remember like very early in the podcast. One of the last brewing segments, you talked about this mono white prison deck that you had on Mining Modern or something. You talked about 2 weeks in a row, and I was like, can we kill this segment?
I think maybe these timelines are a little off, but I appreciate it.
I will be the second person to fall asleep on this cast if we don't cut the brewing segment.
Cass, go ahead.
I've kind of turned around on one of the cards in MH3. It was one of the first things we had spoiled. Flare of Denial.
Yeah, the counterspell.
Free counterspell. Someone said something to me at SCGCon Richmond that got me thinking, and they said the best card to sacrifice to this is Narcomoeba.
Okay.
That gets the wheels turning, you know.
You got Prized Amalgam in there too.
Here I was thinking of ways to turn hatching plans into a creature, and this guy's living in the year 2030.
Right. Every time I hear about like a play that blows my mind, it involves Narcomoeba. One of the last times I thought of it was someone intuitioned for 3 Narcomoebas to like block 2 Tarmogoyfs to win the game. And I was like, that guy's living in the future. And then someone said, you can just sacrifice Narcomoeba to Flare of Denial to counter their spell. And I'm like, that guy's living in the future.
My goodness. It's the blue Bloodghast, truly.
And, Bloodghast would go in that deck, too, probably. I'm just saying, if you're dredging...
Well, it gives the dredge deck, or whatever you want to call it, is these are decks that have existed. It gives it a counterspell. And the other card, White of the Reliquary, of course, is going to... I don't know if it goes in the same deck.
It gives you a Dark Depths.
There's a lot of powerful stuff, yeah.
White is a card I think will be, like, only so-so in Modern. I think it will be very good in Legacy.
Yes. Yeah.
I
think it'll be so-so in EDH, and it'll be on my decks anyway.
It's the kind of card that, like, I was kind of low on the Cradle decks, despite loving them this year, because the 3 Scamander decks are such tough matchups. But I saw this card, and I was like, oh, it just solves all the problems the deck has. It gives you, like, redundancy with Fiend Artisans. It finds you Cradle more consistently. It can give you backup plans and finding depths. It also probably just rebuilds the depths decks. It also probably just makes another new archetype reasonable. the fact that you can untap it with a Kyrian Ranger, then sack the Kyrian Ranger the second activation to find depths and stage, like, there is so much to do with Why the Reliquary. It is incredible.
You can sack a veteran, too.
Yeah.
Veteran
If we do not see... I'm like pointing to left bleachers. I'm Babe Ruthing it. Veteran Explorer will be in this set in Modern Horizons 3. I'm hoping and praying. I don't think it will.
Well, what if it's not?
But maybe it will.
If it's not, does it go up?
So,
you're saying
not.
It would give it new modern legality. I see. Yeah.
Right.
So
The other
I
shtick
think
is-
this would be fine in modern. You talked about it before, about how it would be a perfectly fine card for modern.
I was about to say, I think we have all shot called Veteran Explorer for the past 2 Horizon sets, but hopefully, and one of these days we'll be right, and it'll be a great
It was in
soundbite.
Battle Bond, of all things.
fact-
So, like, if they think it needs to get printed, they'll print it. But, like, they don't need to do another price control reprint. So if it does, I think they would reprint it just to insert it into Modern, which I think would be totally fair. With as
I
many
think the
good
start-
non-basics as there are in that format.
I think the start of Veteran Explorer, sacrifice it to Flare of Cultivation on turn 1, have 4 lands pass, is like, that's something that's cool in the format that requires you to do a little bit of work.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be busted
It's the
or
thing
not.
you gotta
but-
learn to play with.
Oh my god. You can even Summoner's Pact for the Veteran Explorer because you go to 4 lands.
Yeah,
you
and
will
you,
have enough to pay for it. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I'm back off this. There's no way it's reasonable.
yeah, and then like you just
I
a
will start
Karn-
running Crack the Earth to
Listen,
punish
it's just a
greedy people.
it's just a Karn deck, right? Like it's just another mono green Karn deck or whatever. At that point,
Yeah.
you know, like that's not a fun archetype in my opinion. But I mean, that's just like where I would see that direction going when we start talking.
The
about
problem
it's
is
not
in
Veteran
Veteran Explorer, it's Flare of
Explorer's fault that-
Cultivation.
Yeah. No, you ban Titan. You ban Primetime, and I think
Wow,
Maybe
green
ban
becomes
prime time,
just okay.
Sure,
Then you have to do Veteran Explorer bullshit. You can't do Primetime bullshit.
sure, man. But
I'll just-
that prime time only matters to like 2 decks, and it's Amulet, which is its own thing. It's a combo deck, not like a green ramp deck. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And
You
then
can,
like
like, turn one-
the scape shift decks. I guess.
The only deck I've played in current Modern is Amulet Titan. I didn't say
Even
I
without-
knew what I was doing. I know how to use Amulet.
Even without Veteran Explorer, you can still just like turn 1 Grazer, Flare of Cultivation, turn 2 the One Ring, right? Like,
Yeah, just some
Yeah.
really dumb stuff.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
Grazer's
no one's
sick.
no one's even talked about Orum's Chant, like Scepter Chant.
I-
Terrorized me when I first started playing.
Oh my god, I was playing Scepter Chant in Extended.
You would be.
every deck just has 4 Leyland bindings and prismatic endings and like main
True.
deck ways to destroy Scepter. It's just like
Yeah.
the
Scepter's
good
not
part of
safe
Worm's
anymore.
Chant is the good part of Chant now is the kicker. Like your opponent can't attack.
Yeah, they can't.
Like
Yeah,
that's the part that compels me.
true. You can like turbo fog a bunch of decks. But
Or even just like Snapcaster, get a couple extra Worm's Chance to buy yourself some turns so you can
Yeah, you don't
Supreme
even
Verdict.
need
Like,
to worry with something like a Scepter. If you fog an attack and get them pretty hard on the crackback, it wouldn't even matter. You just need to bait that one Alpha Strike that they think will finish you off.
Yeah, if you think that's a good use of Chant, I don't really know if the card is powerful enough. On
I
its
think,
own.
I think not getting killed and making
No,
them
but
tap
I mean,
out is
like,
really
are you playing, like, is a deck playing Orum's Chant for that scenario? Like, or is it like, is Orum's Chant good enough without, comboing with Scepter or whatever?
I have
I mean,
no
the idea is you
idea.
play it in a Scepter Snapcaster deck,
Yeah.
right? That's how I would
Yeah.
play that card.
Yeah,
The
that
last
sounds
time I played
interesting.
Orum's Chant, the format was called Extended, so I'm that's my way of saying I have no f***ing idea how it would work.
Yeah,
now. I don't
yeah.
know.
And yet,
Yeah. Well, all right. There's a lot there. The fetch lands, of course, are getting reprinted. I assume we all think this is an opportunity to buy low on fetch lands.
You always buy low on fetch.
I think it's fine, but it's also important to remember that Modern Horizons 2 was the most printed set in ever, I believe. I believe that is
No,
true. Is that
I was thinking. I'm
maybe
sorry.
Lord of the Rings was.
I'm a Magic player, so I heard buy low, and I just assumed Corbin meant buy a bunch of for the future decks. I forgot that this is a podcast where we tell people buy low on fetches because they'll go up. They probably will a little, but also they'll be cheaper.
I mean,
So just
Scalding
look at your
Tarn
decks
is-
when they're cheap.
Scalding Tarn's $20 right now. Like,
right?
if
Scalding
that.
Tart is the lowest it's ever been.
That's why I brought it up as a question. Yeah, like
I think you should
it's
buy your
certainly an
playset,
opportunity
sure.
to buy low. You know, like if you are someone who ostensibly wants fetch lands for various things, you will have an opportunity.
Yes,
but
if you've
that's
been
why.
waiting. If you've been waiting to own your cons fetches, and I'm going to keep calling them cons fetches, cry boomer. If you've been waiting to own your cons fetches for a few years now, and you didn't want to buy deltas at 40, you will probably be able to buy them at 15, and they will be 15 for a very long time. Very, 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 very long time, because there will be other nutter butter cards in the set that will soak up most of the value, and the set will be printed to oblivion. That doesn't mean that every card in the set will tank. It just means that they will be very stable, and we've seen it's very, very hard to move the needle on a lot of these Modern Horizons 2 rares, like Urza Saga, Esper Sentinel. They've all just been like stable. They've been very consistent movers that you just buy at the number, sell at the number, and then people will just crack more packs. And I think that'll be the same with MH3.
Which is great, because now it means it's time to load up. If the price is going to be stable for a long time, you don't have to hold and be like, I wonder.
The lowest number I ever paid on a fetch land was like a month after MH2 release. Someone brought in a folded in half Marsh Flats, and I paid them $3 for it.
Oh, man.
What do you think the lowest number you will pay on a Windswept Heath in the lifetime of this card is, DJ?
$5.
Like 4 or 5.
The fact that a store can get a Windswept Heath for 4 or 5 and then sell it for like 9, and like have that be a winning proposition for most parties involved is like crazy.
Oh yeah, you're happy to have the $4 for just another for your
I think
seventh
we saw
Heath.
very similar results with Shocklands after Ravnica Remastered, where it's like people are just cracking 1 million packs, handing over the Shocklands they don't like because they liked the borderless or they liked the retro. They're like, I don't want these other ones, or I'm upgrading all my shocks. Take these Return to Ravnica ones. Or just,
and plus the shops were rewarded for busting 10 cases too. Like your mid-level shop that's getting 40 people for F&M, all of a sudden it's like worth it to them to
it's not worth them to bust it open.
No.
But they get to buy it from their customers because, like DJ said, like there's so much pickiness. One thing I will say about these fetch lands is the biggest losers in these is going to be like the mid tiers. I think DJ and I talked about this, we got into a little bit in the past on the cast, but like the judge versions of these are some of the probably the worst they've ever been. Because people are only going to care about the cheapest version of Polluted Delta, and then like Onslaught Foil and maybe Expedition.
And I don't even think Onslaught Foil and Expedition are good anymore.
I think Onslaught Foil is insulated enough because the kind of people who want it, there's no replacement bid for it, if that makes sense.
But I feel like all those people already have it.
Boomers.
I don't disagree with you, right?
Yeah.
It just means like the market doesn't change on it, you know?
Had it and sold it 3 different times. So like, just because the weird boomers like me that like that kind of stuff either have it or will have it doesn't mean anything, because like I routinely sell out of that stuff and buy it back up.
I'm interested.
My whole thing is...
Go ahead.
My whole thing is that the Onslaught Foil Delta doesn't get worse, it just stays the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is my theory, at least.
I've been looking at the Zendikar expeditions over the last couple minutes of these because those are the ones I really liked. And like, so the Windswept Heath has gone up a little bit. Most of them have just stayed the same. Like Polluted Delta has basically dropped from 300 to 250 or so over the past year and a half, which is absolutely no upward movement.
You know what I think almost works as an axiom? I'm trying to think of exceptions to this, but like the newest printing threatens the price of the second newest printing. So the second printing always threatens the price of the first printing, because of course it does. But the third printing mostly doesn't touch the first printing. So I think if you're getting successive printings of something like Delta, that makes Onslaught Delta the best at that point.
Well, the Wooded Foothills as well, Zendikar Expedition, has been coming down in price over the past year. And as someone who like really liked these and has dozens of expeditions, it legitimately makes me want to actually just like sell out of my expensive
expeditions.
Stuff.
Wow.
I have like 100 because I really liked them, and I was at the time able to collect them easily enough via store credit or different things.
Yeah.
I didn't mind holding them, but just watching prices crater on them and the way things are going, like I have a bunch of Shield product that tanked in price and I didn't do anything with. I kind of feel like maybe everything but my duels should go, you know?
There's something else going on with the expeditions where there's like an implicit promise when they said, hey, we're doing too many masterpieces, we'll scale it back. And then a couple years later, they kind of like, oh, well, Yeah, we're not going to do masterpieces per se, but we will do an unset where there's onslaught fetches, or we'll do some whack shit or a board game, or we'll just put them in a standard set, or there'll be bonus sheets in a set that we don't think will sell well enough. So,
Yeah.
like, the fact that expeditions were special, and now they aren't, just because the concept of an expedition is, like, sort of reserved list, quote unquote.
Well, is it even
Like,
any
the concept
better than
of printing
yeah.
a better looking Wooded Foothills is not. Yeah.
Correct. So it's like if you're somebody who wanted a cool version of it and it was an expedition, you had to. That was the expensive version.
Yeah.
It was rare because of the rarity it was printed at. That gave it value. Now, if you're someone who wants one, why spend $150 or $200 on a Wooded Foothills when you can get a whatever version they're going to come out with in the new set for like a quarter of that? You know. So
Or
yeah,
we'll get
just a little rough.
We'll get a Banksy Secret Lair Wooded Foothills or something.
Yeah, like I legitimately actually just kind of want to sell all of my expeditions. I might do some more research into this, but yeah, I guess that's a process I may go through a little bit on the cast.
Maybe we sell everything that's not on the reserved list, and that was our advice 10 years ago. So, like, why did we do the podcast? We could have been a laminated card that said,
"Look, I don't
buy
collect
your
cards
in 1993 and sell them never."
I don't collect cards like to make money on them, but there is a like at some point you do have to ask yourself, if I suspect that these cards are going to continue to go down in price, what is the value to me of still holding on? You know, and for things that I just like view as collectibles, maybe I like take the ones out I want, put them in decks, and just get rid of the rest, you know?
I kept I kept 20 Kellogg's Loop Secret Layers because I was like, this is the burgeoning I'm happy with for the rest of my entire life, and I can live with that. So some people just Costco their shit and buy for the rest of their career, and some people wait to see what else pops up. But there's no wrong way to do it if you're buying to play with.
Yeah.
So just if something gets printed, buy when it gets printed if you think you'll use it, and that's all the advice you need for that segment of the playing population, I think, on any.
All right, well, let's wrap up this week with, of course, Pick of the Week.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
Pick of the week. It's time for the pick of the week.
Did I say mine was Blood Gas because I have an actual one?
You did.
Yeah. I have a 5-parter.
Ooh, a 5-parter.
So there's one real pick, and then there's like 4 kind of like keep an eye out picks.
Okay.
Sure.
My actual pick is Gemstone Caverns, the Time Spiral / Time Spiral Remastered / Glittering Caves of Algorand land that
like
only
that
works
one.
when you're on the draw.
Yeah.
That card notably is broken. It lets you cheat on
Yes.
mana in the modern format. It lets you exile a card, which you might be interested in doing if you're playing with like Eternal Scourge and some sort of Eldrazi deck. It lets you go up on mana early. It lets you play 3 drops on turn 1 with Ugin's Labyrinth for the cost of many cards in your hand. It is kind of always been low supply, and it's $50. It is the kind of card to me where eventually it will get killed. Eventually they're going to print a version of it that just like is meaningful enough in supply that kills the value of it. But in the short term, if you want to play Modern and you want to play with this card, I would get 1 copy. I'd get maybe 2. Most decks don't play more than that. This is not a buy a bunch of them and flip them for profit kind of pick. This is a, if you don't get it now, you will pay more for it later, because every card that's not an MH3 that ends up seeing play because of MH3 will become expensive in the short term.
I agree. My pick of the week is basically the same card, kind of.
Serum Powder?
Chalice of the Void.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping you'd say Serum Powder. Your pick's better, but Serum Powder is funnier.
Serum Powder is funny.
So
you know what else is? No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's sort of a collection of colorless artifacts, and Gemstone Caverns, for the sake of this discussion, is a colorless artifact. That sort of have been on the rise lately. You might have noticed Chromox.
It's Leyline of the turn 1 mana.
Yeah, Chromox finally gets introduced into the $100 club lately. Mox Diamond and Lion's Eye Diamond and City of Traders and Ancient Tomb, these have all been on the rise lately due to CEDH plus legacy demand. I think Chalice of the Void is probably the next one to pop.
Yeah.
Because it's always a 4 of, if there are broken things in MH3 that start killing you on turn 1, it is Chalice is the My Hero Academia that puts on its cape, and its job. That is its job, is to stop people from doing the really dumb stuff that will probably happen because of the set design, because Magic players are smart and will find out a way to do dumb things.
But it's also the dumb thing, right?
Yeah.
Chalice.
It's both sides of the coin, which is why it's so good. This was actually my Richmond shopping. Was 4 Chalice of the Voids and 4 the One Rings. Like DJ said, there's just like this class of artifact that every player's going to need 4 of sooner than later.
Yeah, they're never printing another card like Chalice again for the sake of what it does, for a few reasons. There's a few reasons behind that, right? Like, if Chalice was printed today, it would say, cannot cast. There's this weird mental mind game of Chalice checking your opponent. Like, there's a lot of things about the design that don't work today. The fact that they've printed prison cards narrower and narrower in spectrum, like Chalice is just this crazy blanket that wouldn't exist today, printed 20 years ago. Card is $45 to $50, and there is another TCG player fee breakpoint at $50. Like, when you kind of a fee breakpoint, it's the fact that you have to ship it with tracking mandatorily, but like.
Well, no, that's significant, I think.
Right, and so it means that cards jump from $3 to $6 higher. They jump from $19.99 to $25 higher, and $50. That breakpoint of like, when all the sub $50 chalices are gone, it will be $60 just immediately. And from there,
just
it is
because the additional hassle of selling it on a basically different tier. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Chalice of the Void, get your play set. It's a very weird card that I cannot see being put in Modern Horizons 3. Well, it can't be, right? Because it's legal.
It could be a special guest.
But that supply probably doesn't matter. I don't think like none of the special guest printings have actually mattered in terms of supply entering the market. So Chalice of the, it's not like an attractive secret lair card, I don't think.
What?
Hard to put a spot in it.
What does a Magus with the Chalice look like? Is it like an XX, like endless one that also does the thing? That'd be kind of sick, right? Because the number of +1/+1 counters on it.
That would be fun.
That is actually
That'd be
Magus
kinda
of the
cool.
Chalice would be like, maybe you have to activate it to make it the Chalice.
No,
At the start of
it's
the
just
turn.
no.
and shit?
It's just
It's an XX. That comes. It's 0/0 that comes with X +1/+1. Like, it's just Chalice of the Void on a creature, so it's easier to interact with.
Yeah,
you could just
it's
kill
great.
it.
But it also gives you 8 chalices. It's
Well,
amazing.
you can't play a Chalice on 0 then, or
does it stop them from only playing non-creatures? Is it like non-creatures can't
Maybe, yeah. But you also can't play it on 0. That's a good point because it just dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the line of
maybe it's a star +1, like a target.
no.
Like a
Let it be.
Chalice-
Let it die.
Avoid Megoif.
If they're gonna play it on 0, it deserves to die. That way they don't have to
If they're
restrict it
gonna
in
play it on
vintage.
0, you stop both. That's where you stop all the both.
Well, if they do it like that, then they don't have to restrict it in vintage.
That all sounds
You
pretty
mean the
interesting.
bullshit
I'll say that.
format? Yeah.
All right, I'll come in here. I have a card that has just been reprinted in the breaking news part of Outlaws.
There's
of
so
Thunder
many.
Junction.
That is a gold mine. But that is a gold mine of picks of the week. Every card in there got slaughtered by the reprint. A lot of them are ripe for long term.
Yep, and I'm looking at Force of Vigor because it's $7 and it was previously over two printings $20, $15 to $20 rather. So and now it's $7. So that's where I'm looking. Is this card is just very cheap. It's very good. It's a free spell. Blah blah blah. I don't even know how we feel about like the frame on these. I don't love it myself, but every version of the card is crashing down to this one's price, which means this is your new floor, and it's only going to go whatever the floor is. This is it, and the new one has been very consistent at $7.
Yeah. There's a number of cards in that set that I would happily own 500 copies of if they fell into my lap.
Yeah. All right, Jason. Great news, Jason. Your pick of the week last week was actually Bloodghast, because you came in from Beyond the Void.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
just
To go,
gotta throw that up.
woo!
Well,
Jason.
luckily I have one locked and loaded for this week, because if you look at the big score set, the stuff that's getting played outside of, and like Legacy and Modern and that kind of stuff that people are experimenting with, that stuff's popped. Sword of Wealth and Power, it's a sword, the number one most expensive card in the set. But if you look, the 7th is Jite. So, there's a lot that's played between those two equipment. And one of the cards that is played more than Jite, but is worth less than Jite, and it is in fact worth less than 12 of the 27 mythics in Big Score, is Ultec Matterweaver, which is the 7th most played card in the Big Score. Whenever you cast a creature spell, either create a 1/1 colorless gnome token or create a token that's a copy of target artifact token you control. Ultec Matterweaver is absolutely busted, and it is $3, and that is crazy considering it is played exactly as much as the $49 Simulacrum Synthesizer, because that's played in other formats. I think that the printing of Big Score is so weird, and people are going after Sword and Simulacrum Synthesizer and like Gite and a few other $9+ mythics in that set. They're going to ignore the $3 cards, and I think Matterweaver is played more in EDH than a lot of the stuff that's played outside of EDH, and that is going to matter long term when people are no longer busting packs of this. I think if you buy Matterweaver at $3, you're going to be very happy.
I will add the caveat that this was either the bundle promo or the buy a box promo, so there is more supply of this than all of the other Big Score. But that doesn't necessarily mean your point is wrong. It is still only $3. Like it's very cheap relative to its play compared to the rest of the Big Score cards.
Oh, it's also sold out on those promos are sold out at $5 on a lot of the major sites too.
Right.
So
it doesn't dismiss your point. It's just there is more supply of it. So the ceiling I think is lower, but assuming the play numbers that you're talking about are what they are, I don't think this is like off the wall or anything.
But it's still worth more than Transmutation Font, which is played a little bit less. So even with the additional supply, I think maybe it's more playable.
That's the other promo.
It matters. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
What a goofy ass set. 27 cards with 2 promos.
It is certainly a very, very weird set. And
well, they're not going to do it anymore because this was sort of a, hey, we're going to do another. Oh, that really didn't sell well. Well, what do we do with this shit?
Yeah, I mean, that made this set weird, sure. Yeah, it certainly is we'll see what the next set looks like. Bloomborough around the corner. Magic enters its furry
it's
era.
hard to be too mad at a set that gave us Loot, who's the most bull Magic character they've ever printed. So
the rest of my pick of the week, I mentioned it was a 5-parter. So the other part of it is kind of the sort of blend of Narcomoeba, Silver Smoke Ghoul, and Prized Amalgam. Mm-hmm. I talked a little bit about how Narcomoeba and Prized Amalgam are great to sacrifice to Flare of Denial, but Silver Smoke Ghoul only has 1 printing and goes through both Creeping Chill, which kind of is a natural fit for those dredge decks, especially the ones that are looking to play a little bit of a slower game, like a Flare of Denial, Cephalid Coliseum build might.
Yeah.
But my actual out there pick is Pull from Eternity, which is a time spiral uncommon.
So much.
Yeah. It's 1 white mana, put a face-up card a player owns in exile into their graveyard. So now, if you want to play some sort of deck that wants to entomb something from exile, you have Serum Powder, Gemstone Cavern, Ugin's Labyrinth for a 7-cost or higher. All of these cards, you can then put a card into your graveyard. Also, if you're not looking to do that, you can also just pitch your Atraxa to Grief or Ephemerate, put it in your graveyard with this, and then Goryo's Vengeance
You're a
it.
monster.
This card
that's pretty wild.
It's always out there, and every set they print more cards to exile your own cards. So every set this card gets closer and closer to being an entomb you have to work a little bit for.
You can also, if they play Ugin's Labyrinth, you can just Stone Rain them with this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you take it off from being 2 mana to 1 mana. Yeah. I think it's at its best in decks that play Solitude because worst case scenario, it's a white card to pitch. I think it's you need to have some safety valve on that. But at the same time, the most broken things you're doing with it are probably in a deck where you're
Was this in Time Spiral Remastered, or was it only in Time Spiral?
Only Time Spiral.
Jeez.
And the card that got me thinking...
And Mystery Booster Retail.
Yeah, it has a foil version from the MB1 retail version.
The card that got me thinking about this was I saw a God Pharaoh's gift today, and I'm like, that'd be pretty funny to entomb with... bring it back with one of the 4 mana things that brings back artifacts, and then just start churning value. That's probably the worst thing you can do with it, but it's what got me thinking about it.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do with it is roll it up into a tube and jam it into your tear duct.
Good advice, Jason.
That's not advice. Don't do that.
That's
the worst thing you could do.
I mean, it's advice not to do that, and our listeners appreciate it.
Yeah,
And we
for
appreciate
20 or 25 cents an episode, I'll tell you not to stick things in your
That's right.
product.
We appreciate all of you who go to patreon.com/BSB and make that possible. We also want to give a shout out to our other sponsor, Coalesce Apparel and Design. You can use the gift code Brainstorm Brewery to get 10% off your order there, which can be your order on any Magic merch, not just ours, though ours is pretty cool.
I have 12 Coalesce shirts, 3 hoodies, and a hockey jersey, and they send you a booster pack. What could be better than that?
I do
There
love
you
a
go.
good boosty.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Brainstorm Brewery. We appreciate all of you hanging out with us. We're glad to get to hang out with all of you, and it's fun to have all 4 of us on the show. So this was a great episode.
Is it?
It is.
It was a good
Jason.
episode. If we say it
Fun,
enough times,
Jason,
it
you
becomes
had
true.
fun.
Hey, go on Twitter and tell people this was a good episode.
Thank you. Good advice.
I'll do it. I'll be like, wow, what a humdinger episode. You're going to love the banter Jason and I have.
Tag Jason, yeah.
There were some quality bands for surezies, for realsies.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
I think it'd be funnier if you were bald, Jason.